Alright guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video here with the guy Chris, and today I'm going to be going over my recent Store Championship winning deck, which is going to be Kid Gohan, aka Gohan Icarus, aka Blue Yellow Goodness. This is a very cool deck. Some of the stuff you'll probably have seen in other decks. I can guarantee you there's one bit of spice in this deck. You may be able to tell by the name of the video that I put in this deck. I don't think I'm the first person. I may be the first person who's tested this out. I'm not sure. Maybe the first person who's made a video about it, but I think this deck is extremely good. I actually ran into this deck I was re-sleeving this deck I was going to be playing at my Store Championship this weekend, and I ran into another deck that I was unsleeving, and I ran into a few cards, did some research, made it on Untapped, kind of tested a little bit and realized how good it actually was. So I'm bringing it to you guys so you guys can check it out. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell for all the notifications, all the good stuff. Make sure you guys like and let me guys know what you guys think of the content, as well as the new intro. This is the first video I think I'm actually doing with the new intro on it. So first, obviously, so we got our awesome winner stamps here. Pretty cool. Very awesome looking cards. Huge shout out to Rogue's Den. Fun tournament as always. We ended up finishing first. Went 4-0. Both my round 3 and my round 4 both went 3 games. We'll kind of go over that a little bit, and you guys will probably see the videos on the channel at a later point this week. So, leader, permanent. All of your skillless cards they cost 1. Nope, just a skillless. So any of your skillless cards in the battle area, they gain 5k on your turn. When you swing, you draw a card and take a life. So you have Self-Awakening. And then at 4, you restand 2. You actually, at 4, you draw 2. You don't restand any. Then on this side, you activate main. Whenever you combo with a monster card, you get to draw a card. And then activate main, you get to draw a card, and then choose up to 1 yellow skills in your drop area and play it. Now, what's nice about this card is that you don't actually have to play a card. So basically what I was doing is I was activating the main to basically bait out any form of counterplay. Because when you do this, you draw the card first, and then you choose up to 1. So as the effect goes off, you ask your opponent if they're going. They have to counter blind, and if they decide to counter, you can either not play it or play it. If it goes back to the drop area, it's fine. But you can kind of waste some counter plays on people. The main idea was I figured if I was going to be playing against black, and they're going to try to Super Kamehameha, I don't know why they would waste a Super Kamehameha on a skillless, but they may, and I can play that and then kind of force him into using a Super Kamehameha, and I can just put it back down and just, not play the card. So very cool effect. But the main reason why we play this leader is because we draw so many cards. As you can see here, this is a pretty big deck. This is 60 cards. We are running a 60 card deck. I think going forward, there's probably 4 cards, maybe 3 or 4 cards I would cut out of the deck. But honestly, running 60 cards didn't feel bad at all. It felt like I was running 50. The amount of cards that I draw with this deck is unbelievable. On your awaken turn, essentially you can almost draw 7 cards. So if you're at 5 life, you swing with leader. You obviously want to awaken on your turn, so you get to draw off of this side. So you swing, you draw a card from your deck, draw a card from your life, that's 2. You awaken, you draw 2 more, you go up to 4. You combo with a monster, you go up to 5, play the card, and then you get to play one out and then draw a card there. So 6. You get to draw 6. I'm sorry, which is still pretty ridiculous for an awaken turn. So we'll go over what the deck does here. So we have a BMS. BMS does quite a lot. It did put in a good amount of work. Seeing it as a I don't know, maybe I'd bump it up to 2, but I saw it almost every game, so it didn't really matter. Obviously we have the skillless guys. 4 of the higher dragon. We run this guy because for 1, he's a skillless, and 2, he is a monster. So when we combo with him, we can draw a card, and then we can use his activate main to play him back out to draw another card, or just to draw a card and not actually play him out. And this card does say place up to 1, so you actually don't need a skillless card in your drop area to draw. Which for whatever reason I didn't know last time I played the deck. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I actually don't need skillless, so I can just activate main and just draw a card, because it doesn't say if you have a skillless in the drop area. So you can just draw 1 and then just not play a skillless. So you just get to draw without attacking, which is pretty good sometimes. So you got those. We will revisit these guys probably in a little bit. 2 Basil. Card does come in handy. You are playing a yellow deck. So being able to play this guy out for 1 drawing a card and then getting potentially a 19k dual attacker is very, very good. Definitely something you should be running of. I may bump this up to 3 in other builds, depending on how the meta goes, because this card is still really freaking good. Trying to watch my curse words. So we run 4 of the Bojack Aegis guy, which goes into our Bojack build, of course. Blue yellow is extremely powerful. Going in the next set, I think it's going to be extremely powerful. This combination is just so good. So I think I talked about this in another video. There is a yellow card that you can run, where I don't know if I have it here with me. Probably not. There's a yellow Bojack promo that it's a 1-drop negate if you have a blue yellow card in your energy. I don't think I have it on me here, but the idea is that, oh yeah, this guy here. Yeah, so I was running this, and this guy here, if you have a blue and yellow energy, he becomes a 1-drop negate where your opponent mills. But what's nice is that you can technically charge this guy on turn 1, and this guy then becomes active. So this guy says if you have a Bojack Brigade in your energy, you negate his energy exhaust in all areas, and you reduce his combo cost by 1. So it becomes a free 5k combo, but also he's a free multicolor charge. So in yellow decks, because you know blue decks obviously they have the blue Bojacks. This is our monocolor Bojack that you can play. So there's a card in this deck that if I didn't have access to, I probably would play this guy, but we'll go over that a little bit later. But it felt okay. There were some turns where there's a games where I drew way too many multicolor cards, like way too many of these, and you do want to charge 1 mono yellow for particular reasons. So charging the multicolors actually kind of hurt a little bit. So I may actually go back to just playing this card and maybe as a 3 of, just because it is really, really good for being able to charge the Bojack. Now, this guy is one of your rival cards because, for one, he is a free charge if you have a Bojack in your energy, and also when you have a blue yellow, when you have a Bojack in there, he also has a free 5k combo. So he can get you out of some sticky situations, especially if you don't have Zamasu, which is obviously our super combo. So Zamasu taps leaders, taps battle cards. Card's been out for so long. It is extremely powerful. I think at some point this card may get limited, just because how viable it is and what it can do. So we'll probably see in the future. I hope not, but it is very, very good. And then Bojack, your rival card, you play him out for 1 yellow. He has barrier, he has Aegis, rescients 2 energy, draws a card on your defensive step. Very, very powerful. So we got that. Actually, I do have some other multicolor cards. I'll probably go over that stuff too. So then we have our permanent check lands. So I don't own 4 Zamasus, nor am I buying 4 Zamasus. But if I end up pulling them or I get them from somebody, I'll play them. This card says if you have a multicolor card in your energy, you negate his energy exhaust. So if I charge this, then this becomes live. Just gives me a good turn 2 play or a turn 3 play. You play him out for 1 blue, 1 yellow. Card being played 4 or less goes back to your opponent's hand. It hits the board, and then you tap down one of your opponent's battle cards and draw a card. It's very good. Obviously, the main reason why I use it is for unison. So your opponent plays a unison for more than 2. Basically, if 2 or 3 or 4, you just play this, pop back to their hand, make them waste energy. Blue and blue matchups, whenever they play Boo, this is the perfect card. Because they play Boo, and then you just slam this down and make them waste God Sealing on this, which isn't a great. I mean, it's okay, but it could be much better. Then also, you can charge it if you need to. I ran the 2 Beerus check lands just because I didn't have 4 of these, or else I would just run 4 of these. But this is just there to act as a blue yellow for Aegis, or if I charge one of these or charge one of these, this gives me a second charge for multicolor, because I don't really want to charge those Zamasus. I would rather use them. So that's kind of my blue yellow package. It's a very big package, but the deck never felt overly cumbersome with multicolors. It felt pretty fair. So I think this is a good combination here. Right, my 2 drops, 2 Goku Blacks, 2 Raiders. This card didn't do me much. I did play it a few times. I mainly charged it. I think I actually may cut this out of the deck completely. I think the way that the meta is going right now, I'm not playing 2 energy to get this God Sealing back to my hand. I'm not playing 2 for it to get Charismatic Villained. Green also is going to be running the Bardock Unison, so it's going to pop this. It's just a waste of energy. So this is probably going to get cut. I probably will add 4 Goku Blacks completely. This card's nuts. So if you have a blue-yellow energy, for one, he costs 2 blue. That's the only problem, that you can't, if you want to play him on turn 2, you have to charge multicolor both turns, which it's possible in this deck, obviously. But you play him at the end of your turn. Doesn't matter if he's dead or not. You draw 2, pitch 1, and reset one blue or yellow energy. And we'll kind of go over some combinations of you can do with this card a little bit later. But we'll probably end up running 4 of these when the card's getting reprinted in the special edition anniversary box. So I'll probably just pick up 2 more there, or maybe a full playset of that art, so we have something that matches. We'll see. 1 Absolute Annihilation. Card did its job. Barrier Deflect. Makes all your opponent's extra cards cost 1 more. Card absolutely destroys King Cold if they can't get the Frieza down in time. This card sticks on the board for more than a turn or 2. It's pretty devastating. This card's just super good. So the MVP of the deck is the Higher Dragon here. So the only mistake that I made, I think, is that I didn't run 4 of this card. And I have 4. I just, for some reason, decided to just go with the 3. I think a lot of it had to do with deck space. But going forward, I'm going to make room for a 4th one. Because this card definitely saved my butt a lot. So for one, it is a monster. So you can combo with it off of your leader to draw a card, which does come in handy. Then at the end of your combat, at the end of the battle, you can tap 1 yellow and play out 2 skillless, no energy cost. I mean, no energy requirement, sorry, from your deck or your drop. And then if you look through your deck, you shuffle. So the idea of this card is that you can play out 2 skillless from your deck, and it has to be 2. You can't, I mean, you can choose 1, but you can't choose 1 from each spot. You have to choose, both have to come from the same exact identical space. So you can't do 1 from the drop, 1 from the deck. It doesn't work that way. Which is, I think it's fair, because if you could do that, I think the card would be even more broken. If you could just basically just search out either or. You're like, okay, yeah, we're just going to play this from here and play this one from here. Again, this is a card we're going to go over here in a little bit. I was trying to actually find my my 4th one. I just don't know where he is. So, but being a monster obviously is the main reason why we run the card, because we can draw combo off of it. We're never going to combo the card on offense. Realistically, you shouldn't be. You should have access to at least 1 skillless, whether it's on the field or in your battle area. In your battle area or in your hand, you should have access to 1, so that way you don't have to use this guy. But you want to do this kind on defense. The downside is, I guess, is that you can only do this when you have 2 or more energy. So if you go first on your opponent's turn 2, you can't play it. You have to have 2 energy. So on your opponent's turn 3, it becomes live. But that's okay. Our game doesn't really start till turn 3 anyways, and we're not going to die before then. But yeah, this card's going to definitely go up to 4 of. This card's absolutely nuts. Again, another card we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Some 1-ofs, Poutine and Bergamo. If you played against yellow, if you played yellow, you know what these cards do, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. Thankfully, this card did get hit, because if not, I think this deck would probably be tier 1. Excluding, the weird blue matchups, but this card being hit definitely puts yellow in sort of a struggle, just because this card's nuts. So we have some utility. You have 3 Power Super Saiyan, 2 Giant Ball, 2 Mecha Frieza, 1 of each of these negates, and 1 cooler. So the split was mainly because I didn't know what people were going to play. So I just want to have a combination of both. Going forward, I probably will just run 2 Nimbus. I'll probably put Nimbus in the side deck and run 2 of the Frieza. Ripping a life at 4, instead of taking a crit and playing out a blocker to block another attack, is much better than pitching 2 to block 1 more attack. It feels better to do this for free. Power Super Saiyan was fine at 3. There's times I wanted 4. There's times that I'm glad I didn't have 4. You technically want to charge one of these guys so your Mecha Frieza Negate is is on live. This card becomes a 1 cost or gets reduced by 1 for every extra card in your drop or your energy. And when he hits the board, your opponent attacks with anything other than Unison, they have to tap a card first. Now, the problem is that we do run Overwhelm, so if you have all of your extra cards in your Overwhelm and you Overwhelm them away, on your next turn, they won't cost it. This card won't cost any less because you'll have none of those cards in your drop. So, idea is turn 2 or turn 3, you want to charge an extra card, and then turn 4, possibly charge another extra card. Just to get out of the way. Certain matchups, Giant Ball is just a completely dead card. So because of that, we just end up charging it. But the matchups where it's good, card that's being played, you choose it, you put in rest mode, and you draw a card. So it's put in rest mode before you actually play the card. And then the one cooler, just because you're playing yellow and running cooler is really good to stop the floodgate, especially since green now has a floodgate. Being able to put down the Boo Topo is pretty powerful. One Champa. Gotta run Champa. Some more utility. We have 2 of the Draw Apes, 4 Senzu Bean, and 2 Final Flash. Obviously, this is to crack on lead or battle card swings or unisons for game. You have your 2 draw cards. This is a card that I think is necessary for the deck, mainly because this card cuts down your deck size by a total of 6 cards. Because you have the 1 card here, and you tap 2 to draw 2. So you're taking out 2 cards out of your deck. This deck cycles a lot if you consider your leader attack, the fact that you're drawing off of, you have the Goku Black, you have Bardock, you have Aegis, you have every time you combo with a monster, you have every time you play a skillless once per turn, obviously your Awakened turn, Power of a Super Saiyan, Bardock Rager's Warcry, and the 3-drop that cycles out 2 skillless. So you want to grab them from your deck to shrink your deck size. So you're just drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. There's hands that I had that were like 18 cards in hand. It feels really, really good. It feels like like the yellow version of Soul Striker in a way, where you have so many cards in your hand, you have so many resources, and if they can't get rid of your resources, i.e. Bojack, they can't counter your negates, they can't stop you from Senzu Beaning. Game becomes very vicious. And you have Final Flash here, just being able to pop battle cards to take away their skills. So if your opponent's swinging at you for double strike or crit, they combo a bunch of cards, a little too many, and you just want to take the single damage or not take the damage at all. You can hit them with this to just remove all of those skills. And we try to charge mainly yellow. There were games where I actually had to charge blue, and I'll talk about those at the end of the video. So this card, the bottom effect doesn't become live, but it's still the 15k combo. So sometimes that's enough to get out of whatever it is that you're going against. Now we're gonna go over the spice in the deck, which is why I played the deck, which is the good old Gogeta package. So it's a very small package, and it worked out completely fine. So you can't play these because they do cost 1 black, but we do have a special card here, the Higher Dragon, which when you combo it for 1 yellow, it says grab 2 1-drop skills from your deck or your drop, which have no color requirement at all. Also, the leader, this card doesn't require a yellow leader, doesn't require a Gohan leader. So this card is just generically amazing. So what you do is you combo this for 1 yellow, and then you play these guys out from your deck. So at any point in the entire game, you can find these cards. If your opponent Beerus Balls them, that's fine. These can go to the drop, which still works for this effect, so it doesn't matter. The only card that would scare me is Super Kamehameha, and then I would just choose 0 off of this, so it doesn't really matter. These cards are going to come to my hand or the board or the drop regardless. So being able to do that is absolutely nuts. Another card you actually can use to put these in the drop is the Goku Black, which I did quite a bit. So when you draw, this card effect is you draw 2 and you pitch a card. So I would just pitch one of these guys and then draw 2. Oh, I would draw 2, pitch one of these guys, and then just restand an energy. But this card here makes this deck possible. So turn 4, my opponent would never see these black cards. They would have no idea what I'm playing. Turn 4, I would combo with this. I would hit it, and I would go, okay, I'm gonna take 2 skillless cards. Response, they say no, and I play these 2, and then they go, that's not cool. So they already knew what I was playing. Now if you guys don't know what the Gogeta does, he is a 4 colorless. Requirement: you pay by warping a Vegeta and a Goku Xeno from your board and or drop. I believe I think it says and or. This is and or. Yep. So you can have one in the drop, one on the board, both in drop, both on board. Doesn't matter. So basically, we would use this to grab them back, and then we would just combo them off or pitch them off of effects or do whatever. Pay this guy for 4. You play him. He is a 35k triple attack blocker. Whenever he attacks, your opponent warps 2 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, and 2 cards from their hand, once per turn. And he swings 3 times, and then he restands at the end of the turn, so he has blocker. Also, this card cannot be KO when he's in rest mode. So your opponent decides to tap him down using a Zamasu or doing whatever, playing Kakunsa or whatever it is. They can't kill him, so it's fine. And I think he says he just can't be KO'd, right? Yeah, he can't be KO'd. He can be removed by warping him or whatever, or bouncing him back to your hand, but KOing skills doesn't work. This is insane. I think my only change would be possibly running 3 of him. Every matchup that I had, all 4 games, except for maybe my finals matchup, this card won me every game. Absolutely every game. I just dropped it on, there was games where I dropped it on 4 because I felt safe and I would just swing with them. There's games I dropped them on 5 to swing with them. But this card just wins you games, man. Being able to, in a deck that has all of these resources to play defense with, being able to just drop a 35k triple attack body that warps 2 on board and 2 from hand is very, very critical. And also being able to restand, have a blocker, so that way I can get to my defensive step and maybe tap something down with Zamasus or do whatever. Absolutely nuts card. A cool tech you can run is the yellow Zamasu that you get to restand one of your blockers. I think it would work for this card because I don't think that has a color restraint to it, so you can run that too as a yellow card, but that's kind of a weird tech. So these two are completely fine. You don't need to run anymore. I do need to get another foil of this Vegeta because he's not foil, but definitely running probably 3 of these in the deck from now on. I would recommend probably running 3 unless you're comfortable just running the 2 of. It's such a small package. But all you need to see is this guy. Once you have this guy in your hand, you're going to be able to find the Goku and Vegeta regardless. I didn't have any times where all 4 were in my life. I had times where maybe 1 or 2 were in my life. But I was able to dig them out. And then using the higher dragon to then pull the other 2 out works pretty fine. So, last cards are the 2 Overrealm slots, which we have 1 Fighting Fates, 1 Secret ID. Just a good mix. You probably saw a lot of 1-ofs in the deck. But it's because the deck just has so many options. You're going to see all of your cards regardless, so having all the different options doesn't really matter too much. And then Secret is going to be Supreme Kai. Yeah, it's perfect. This meta is... This card is the best Secret Rare for the current meta because of the removal of Unisons. I know the green one's good. It is very good. It is restricted to green though, so if you're not playing green, you can't play it. But this card here is just generically good for every other sense. You stop leader and unison attacks, and then you can warp an entire board and a unison for 1 energy and have a 40k swing. Obviously, you're swinging before that, but this card is just absolutely broken. So the side deck, which was kind of actually hard to make. So I went with some unisons. So 2 Vegeta and 2 Megabora. The Megabora never came in, never actually was played, but I brought it for the blue matchups. So this is my answer to Majin Buu. The idea is that you use this card to, for one, keep one of your opponent's battle cards locked down and draw a card. And then you also have a 15k blocker on board. Blue cannot deal with unisons very well. So because I can basically tap down an energy, tap down any card on board that doesn't have barrier, which then opens up Bergamo, which opens up Poutine, which just gives me more defense. And also, like I said, it is a blocker. Also, the -4, I can take any of their battle cards. So essentially, if they have let's say a Golden Ape, something on board, I can always use this to block. Basically, since most blue matchups go long, you drop this on 4 or 5. It's going to sit there for the rest of the game. And then when they play 17, you use this to block 17. Next turn, play 1 for 4. Or if this is already at 4, if this is at more than 4 markers, you steal their 17 and then kill them with it. So, Vegeta actually won me my semifinals game. So, the -1 being able to stop battle cards that are higher than your opponent's current energy cost is just absolutely nuts, especially in a control meta where people who are going to be playing yellow more likely will be playing Cell Xeno, which is still a good card. But you can tap down any card using its main effect or tap itself to gain a marker, -1 to stop your opponent from attacking with cards greater than their current energy. Then you can -3 to tap an energy, and this card gets 5k, dual attack, and double strike, which never came up. My second matchup was against Miracle Goku, aka Hellku, and game 3, I knew my opponent had Cell Xeno after game 2. I didn't realize he had Cell Xeno in his deck. Sided this in, just -1 most of the game, so the 8-drop and his Xeno couldn't attack. And he may have had 10-drop Fu too, so it just stopped all of his cards from being able to attack, and I was able to win that way. So, card came in handy. Tuabuni. This is also for the blue matchup. I never got a chance to actually side it in because I never played against any blue decks. This card would come in for Bardock Raider's Warcry, and this is because I would be charging more blue in this sense. So I actually would probably end up charging mono blue. That way I can play Goku on 2 and a Boonie on 4. But playing a Boonie into blue matchups, if they want to waste God Sealing on it, that's fine. It stops them from wasting in all my other bigger boss monsters. But then being able to restand energy at the end of the turn is pretty helpful against blue matchups, because then I can play more aggressive on offense and still restand energy. Also for blue, was Frost Deadly Poison. This hits Golden Ape. This hits mainly for 10-drop Fu, because I know a lot of people at our locals plays control, so I know a lot of people are siding in 10-drop Fu. So being able to use this card against 10-drop Fu is absolutely nuts. So it's a 3-drop. Card coming into play is put in rest mode with the skills engaged, you draw a card. Then if you have 3 or less energy, you get the restand energy. So it ends up being a 2 cost at the end of the day. Also, this card's super good to charge, because this card also works for your Mecha Frieza Robotic Riposte, because this is technically a yellow extra card. So it still works for that too. And being blue-yellow, we're going to end up probably charging one of them and then just playing the other one out later. Another blue card would be Jiren. Stops the 17 plays, of course. One cooler. Not much really to say with cooler there. This card, Matado, Skill of the Sage. This card won me 2 of my matchups. I think. I believe so. So I actually did use this against Xeno Cell, but the idea with this card is it's a 1-drop yellow. The counter is play the card, and then auto, if your opponent plays, you choose this card, you put in the drop area. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a higher energy cost than their current energy, ignoring barriers, switch to the rest mode, and cannot restand till the end of your next turn. So when your opponent drops Xeno Cell on you, on turn 5, sure, they can rip your hand, but you're going to put it in rest mode, and then they can't kill you with it. Also works against Android 17. So if your opponent plays 17, you play this. All your guys' cards go back to your hand, and you put it in rest mode and can't restand. So it ends up being a very, very good card. This card is, I think, untapped. I don't think a lot of people were even running this card. Obviously, in blue matchups, it's kind of weird, because you do actually play this card. So it's kind of a different text than God Sealing, because God Sealing just says put in the drop area, I believe. If it works the same way as God Sealing, just let me know. But this is super, super good card. Ran both Fus, because I didn't know if we were going to be running into, like I said, any long games, turn 6 or more. And then if Dark Broly was going to be played, since it's probably the last tournament we're going to see Dark Broly, wanted to use this to destroy Dark Broly, just because it hurts a lot. And then 1 Golden Frieza, again for blue. Being able to wipe a whole board and then having a 25k body on board that they can't remove by skills. And then if they activate a counter, which most blue decks are going to be activating a counter when this guy's swinging, you get to choose 2 of their cards, switch in the rest mode, and they can't restand. So, you can choose Leader, you can choose Unison, you can choose whatever, and just puts him in a very, very bad situation, and he can't be removed, and he has blocker. So, but that's what I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys like the deck. It's a very, very fun deck. As I said, cuts. I kind of actually show you guys what I would cut real quick. So I already talked about the Bardock Raiders Warcry. I think going forward, we're probably going to cut Warcry completely out of the deck. It sucks to say, because the card is really good, but I think in the current meta, I just don't think it's super valuable. I think it may end up going to the side deck, if anything, just to have it. This will be getting bumped up to 3. This will be getting bumped up to 4. The Goku Black bumped up to 3, if not 4, in this variation of the deck. The Absolute Annihilation may just become a side deck card. It is awesome to have in the main board. I guess we just need to see if more people are going to be playing the extra card based decks, because if they are, this card would stay in the main board. If not, it may just go to the side. Multicolor cards felt fine. I think the only card I may put in just completely cut would be Nimbus. Maybe just completely take out Nimbus, just take the spot out and not add another card. And then maybe take out Giant Ball and put another Power of Super Saiyan and another Frieza Army. And put this in the side deck, because this card did come up a little bit, but then I played in matchups where all my opponent's cards had deflect, so it's just like, all right, this card is just going to be a charge. So matchups, we played round 1. We played against, I'm trying to remember here. Round 1, I played against Blue Gohan. Matchup was pretty okay. Nothing too crazy happened. I just kind of played Gogeta both games and won. Second round was against King Cold. That was one of our feature matchups. That matchup was kind of bad for me because Giant Ball doesn't work against the 5-drop Gohan or 5-drop Frieza. So second game I put in Matado instead of Giant Ball, and he played Gohan. One of the turns I Matado'd it, and then next turn just kept swing. I think I killed him through Boo, I believe. Yeah, I did kill him through Boo. I swung. He booed already, so I dropped the Goku and Vegeta, and then played Gogeta next turn and killed him. The third game was against Miracle Goku, Hellku, and it was a very, very good game. We actually went down to last turn in time on game 3, and I had 5 or 6 energy. I drew a Senzu Bean off the top of the deck, swung in, did some stuff, beamed, played out Gogeta, had 3 swings, plus my Vegeta Unison, plus Bojack, plus Leader. It ended up just being a little too much. And then in finals, I played against Green Ginyu. And we should have that video on the channel as well. We ended up going to game 3. The deck just had a lot of pressure. The deck is pretty formidable. If you can stabilize against it, though, it's not too bad. Which is what I was able to do 2 of the games. I stabilized by turn 3, and then I just kept clearing the board so he couldn't get any of his cards down. It ended up working out pretty well. So, but I do think variations of this deck will probably be played going in forward. I think people should try to look at experimenting more with the Gogeta stuff, because the card is just generically really, really good. It works super well with his leader. So if you guys like the deck, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.